Welcome to Fargo Talks Fargo, an unofficial podcast on the FX television show. Fargo Talks Fargo is hosted by me, Bill Lempe, and my buddy Sharpie. Sponsors for this season of Fargo Talks Fargo are TAG, celebrating Fargo and the Midwest community through t-shirts, art, and graphics. For more information, visit tagfargo.com. And Fargo Brewing Company's Wood Chipper India Pale Ale with its bold hop flavor and velvety body. Grab a pint or visit them online at fargobrewing.com. All right, here we are, Sharpie, episode 4, Eating the Blame. Oh, yes. I've eaten I eat a lot already. Not just the blame, but another great show, I think. And this week, we are really happy to have Carmela and Mia here, who run the FX Fargo Tumblr and Twitter account. And Mia's from New Hampshire. Carmela's way, way far away from Melbourne, Australia.
Hey now.
How are you ladies doing?
Good.
Yep. Great.
So how do you let's get this out of the way. If one of you two pick it, the abridged Cliff Note version of how you do this. You're international FX Fargo Tumblr blog people.
Mm-hmm.
What's the story?
Yep. We're both Martin Freeman fans, and I guess last year we'd heard about him appearing on Fargo, the TV show. We heard news of it. I heard news of it on Tumblr, and followed it ever since that point. And I know that Mia did the same.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, we'd started late last year into early this year thinking about coming up with a blog for the show, a fan blog. The one difficulty was that because the show was still filming at that point, gaining material for the blog was a bit tricky. So we had to bide our time and just wait for a little more material to come out. We finally decided after the Fargo panel at TCA, we decided then to roll out the blog and get started and start posting information for people up until the premiere. And so we've been rolling on it from there. I run the Twitter, and Mia and I and our new mod Katie, we co-run the Tumblr and manage posts and answer questions for people as they come up.
That's crazy. And then I remember we chatted real briefly, and Mia, you said you actually drove to or went to New York to the Paley Center.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I was.
Yeah, what do they call that? I mean, I keep calling it the Paley Fest, and I always forget Paley Fest is a different event they put on, but it's Paley Center Media for the Arts, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And they had like a nice Q&A that we've brought up quite a few times, but was that pretty? That had to be pretty cool to actually be there and see all those people in person and watch Martin Freeman just evidently flee the country.
At the end, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just had to run out. He had a plane or something.
Yeah. It seemed like the audience was just about as pretty much as bummed as his castmates were.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really fun, though. I don't know if they said before, but we watched, like, clips from the show before the panel.
Really? So what clips did they show you guys?
They've all been ones that we've seen already on the show now.
Mm-hmm.
They had the scene in the second episode with them with Wrench and Numbers like drowning the Lorne lookalike in the ice hole with that song playing. We watched that one. We watched the scene with Lorne and Lester at like the diner from the pilot, and one of the scenes with Molly and her dad. I think there might have been one more.
That had to be kind of cool to see that kind of stuff early.
Yeah, that was
because
cool.
that stuff hadn't been out on YouTube or anything yet via FX.
Yeah, it was like a little exclusive thing that they showed us. It was fun.
So your guys' coverage has been pretty amazing. I know Bill and I commented on it right away when we started doing the podcast that these girls over at at this FX Fargo Tumblr are just like covering everything. I have no idea how they have the time to do it. And obviously there's 3 of you now.
Uh-huh.
And for those out there curious, it's fxfargo.tumblr.com. And go check it out. You guys post all kinds of fan art, some of the most amazing GIFs from the show. Now, where do you find these GIFs? Do you make a lot of them, or do you just come across them?
Yeah, I say GIF too.
No, it's GIF.
Problem is, GIF is actually a household cleaner here in Australia, so I actually hate calling it GIF.
Yeah, it's also peanut butter.
It's peanut butter in America.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
We
both-
make them.
Yeah.
You make them.
Well, we reblog, or we like post other people's, we reblog other people's, and then we
Sure,
make our
sure.
own as well. Hmm.
Oh, they're so fun to watch. You guys got to get
Yeah.
out there and check it out at fxfargo.tumblr.com and also on Twitter at fxfargo, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty fun stuff.
We should probably hit it with the actual show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As they said on the show
Let's
last
dive in.
night, erstwhile in Fargo.
Hmm.
Yeah, was that the
Yeah,
first
I
time they
think-
mentioned that?
I think it's
think
it's
so.
definitely the first
All
time
of a
they
sudden
said
they were
first
doing
while.
it.
They did it.
Yeah. I
Do
haven't.
you think somebody had a bet, like, let's get this word in there?
Yeah.
Like Noah's like, someone's like, I bet you can't get erstwhile into the opening of your show. And he's like, oh, hell yeah, I can. I can and will.
The first word.
Yes.
Yeah, no one
And-
uses erstwhile. Like, no one does.
Erstwhile, aforementioned.
I'm always thinking
I-
of the AMC promos, last week
Yeah.
on AMC, or last
Yeah,
episode.
right.
So, yeah, it's a bit
Yeah.
weird hearing erstwhile. I was like, what? There's an old word.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And so we get right to it. Boom, it's 1987.
Yep.
And we're driving down the road with Stavros and Helena Milos
Mm-hmm.
in Minnesota, and we basically I don't know if we need to harp on this subject too long after we went on our crazy, what I still call our tinfoil hat episode, where it was like grassy knoll gunmen, conspiracy theories about God and all sorts of things. But we pretty much get right to it, and
Mhm.
it's just like we find out even more that even from a poor standpoint in his life, Stavros is quote unquote a man of God.
Hmm.
And he's got some he's got some bad shit going on. I mean, that's not we can speak to breaking down in the Midwest in the winter. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, you
But there
especially
he
don't
is.
want to pump $5 worth of gas into a car and start driving across a tundra plain.
No,
That
it's
is
a terrible
definitely
idea.
like you're definitely putting your life in your hands at that point. I mean, it can get to temperatures up here, especially in that neck of the woods. If you're talking about Bemidji and Duluth, it can get to 60 below, and in those temps, you're dead in 10 minutes outside.
Yeah.
I certainly wouldn't be spotting a shiny red object in the snow and running and diving to dig it up. So I'll give him props for that.
Little Dimitri didn't seem to mind in the backseat. So did you guys did you two think that when you saw that, or when you maybe heard our episode, or did either of you pick up on that while you were watching? Were you like, there's got to be a reason this isn't just a casual throwback?
Well-
or were you not convinced that it was going to be?
Well, I heard your guys' episode about your theories on it, so, and yeah, you guys got it.
Were we able to convert you?
Hmm. Yeah, well, and it happened like right off the bat in the show.
Yeah, we didn't mess around,
Hmm.
Yep.
and
No.
neither did they.
Hmm.
No. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people picked up last week's episode with the red scraper that
Yeah,
the suitcase would come into play. So I think a lot of people were quite observant and picked it up.
I've been really kind of nitpicking around Stavros and his whole family, and a little bit lately, at least to this week, and it's really interesting to me that he's dedicated his life to God, but he's very obviously not as much of a man of God as he was before. And then I kind of have these notes that I was going to just push out there just for a minute, because I was trying to think of his family, the three of them, and how his wife was together with him and isn't anymore. And
Mhm.
but little religious fact here that Stavros comes from the Greek word staros, which is like Stauros, which is Greek for cross.
Oh, okay.
What?
Everything about this, and Helena, his wife, is the patron saint of discoveries.
Hmm.
Really?
So like, yeah, and Dimitri is the name is like a devoted person of Demeter, who is the Greek goddess of earth and grains. And hey, his dad is the supermarket king. Can you get more earthy and grainy about that? Coincidence? I think not.
Bill, you're doing your homework. I'm impressed.
So I just think it's really important that everything around the Milos family is completely tied to this idea of being poor and then becoming rich and falling. And I finally because, so here we go, starting with spoilers already. The blood in the face is, it's raining blood, kind of like the plagues of Egypt. So I was like, of course, you better look up the plagues of Egypt so you can try to figure out what's coming next. And I think I finally, I don't know, the slaughtering animals thing that's always in the back window.
Mm-hmm.
There's all the cattle die is one of the plagues. They're all like killed. And I keep thinking, oh,
is that
what's the backside of that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's not Lauren doing that to him, but I don't know. I'm digging way too deep.
You're digging.
License plate number from this episode.
I've read about people talking about Lester's hand as being symbolic of the boils.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good
I
call.
saw somebody who wrote something kind of like that it was on the other side of that it was actually a psychological, like a physiological manifestation, and it's not actually real, which is why no one else says, hey dude, your hand's the size of a giant hammer. No joke, and no pun intended there. It's just like, it's just so thick, and I mean, I'm just waiting for that thing to like burst. It's so gross looking.
Yeah.
And some people are saying, well, maybe it's not real.
I was reading that too, but then I'd just come across last night an interview with Noah Hawley where he, I'm not sure if I should say, it's a bit of a spoiler alert.
Fire away.
He says it gets worse.
If you don't want to hear it, mute.
His hand gets worse?
His hand gets worse. And
how can it not?
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? Like, I think it's real. Personally, I think it's real.
Isn't there something he can do that would
went to get the ointment and then he left?
Oh yeah, right.
Like outside of like rubbing cream on it, which to me isn't
at this point
going to remove it.
Mm-hmm.
That's Bill's answer to everything usually.
What did you say?
Nothing.
Smart ass.
You'll hear it on the podcast later.
No, I mean, yeah, I think he's got to take that out, and obviously he can't talk to anyone about it because it's evidence of him being present at a crime instead of laying on his basement floor, right?
Yeah, I guess that's really weird though, because now that he went shooting with Chaz, I was wondering whether he could just explain it away and go, I just accidentally had a shooting accident.
I think some people just care so little for him, for his like most of his well-being, that they just don't. You ever notice nobody ever says outside of that one time at Beau Monk, nobody's like, "How you doing?" anymore. They just even Chaz was like, "Oh, your floor," and it's like the floor, like okay.
Yeah, no, well, that's why it was funny with the interview with Bill when he was being interviewed by Bill Oswald a couple episodes ago. And he was, he was talking to him like he was, he knew him, but you didn't get the sense that they were friends at all. Yeah. He was kind of sympathetic to him, but it was just kind of a bit weird because it was like, it's not like he's kind of asking after Lester, but you could kind of sense the way that Lester was reacting to him that he wasn't a mate, he wasn't a friend of his. So it seemed like
their best connection
really
was
had no
I
friends.
knew you got beat up in Hubba Bubba.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he ran around. He chased you until one of you.
And he watched.
Off.
And it's the thing is
terrible.
it's like he's a friend. He's there, and yet he was never enough of a friend to say, "Oh, I used to stop him from beating you up." He just obviously watched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Fuck that guy.
Like, it's really sad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, better
For like
call
100 other reasons too. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think Lester's got a long list there of people that.
so we get from there to kind of coming back to our little scoop through. We got Don Chumph, plumber for hire, and he's at Stavros Milos' place. I feel like we have to at least say that once or twice because that's our running joke. Now we know. We'll just call him the Cross.
You
now.
have to say it.
So that was an interesting thing to see him just there to just agitate the situation.
Right. And I wonder if that was Lauren's play. Did Lauren ask him to ask if he was a man that followed the Bible?
That's what I was thinking, because then also in the phone call with like the disguised voice, he says like something really similar. I don't know if Lauren is like setting up Don.
Yeah, because Don seems too dumb to be able to say something like that on his own. So I feel like he has to be coerced into bringing up the Bible, and just like you say, Mia, because he's basically being part of his own setup.
Yeah. Also with the pet store, like he went to like 3 pet stores or like 4 pet stores or something to get the crickets. Like obviously you can check if he went to every pet store in town, they're gonna know.
They're gonna be like, "Hey, did you see that thing in the Phoenix supermarket?" And
Like,
and I think that's the thing is that that's why he has turned Don Chumph into his hand. You know, he's the wrist. That's it. He does all the right. Yeah, he's the wrist. He's just doing all the work. And I thought it was
that scene when Chumph is on the phone with Lauren in the store. His accent is so hilarious. I watched it like 5 times. When when Lauren's like, "Who do you think this? Who knows you're in the pet store?"
Do you want me to play that? Do you want me to play that scene
What
for
was
you,
that?
Sharpie? All right, here we go. All right.
I want to hear it. Please hear it. Please let me know.
Sir? Are you Don Chumph?
Yeah?
There's a phone call for you.
A what now?
A telephone. You can take it right here at the counter.
Hello?
Do they have them?
Who is this?
Well, let's figure this out together. Who knows you're at the pet store right now?
My mom?
Do I sound like your mom?
No.
Hold on. Does your mom know why you're at that pet store right now?
She thinks I'm getting a cat.
Okay, I don't have time for this. Do they have them? Yes or no?
But only 100.
Okay. Well, there are 3 other pet stores in the city, so hit them all. I'm in jail. I'll be out in a few hours.
Wait, what?
Time's up.
It's such a
2
great.
hours. Come get me.
I love his matter of factness about it. Like, it's like, yeah, go get the crickets, my mom, and then pick me up at the coffee shop. Instead, he's like, I'm in jail. Come get me in 2 hours. Get me in 2 hours. There's no question about like call a lawyer, do anything. He's like, I'll be out soon. Don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm. Also, the pet store lady knows Don's name.
Did she or did she say, "Are you Don"? I couldn't remember.
Yeah, she said, "Are you Don Chumph?" And he was like, "Yeah." So, like, if they go back to check at the pet store, she's going to know literally who it was by name.
Exactly.
I have like a little bit of my willing suspension of disbelief happening right now. Because how did he know which pet store to be at? Or did he only send him to the one and just was like, hang there until I might call you? I don't know. He really is. He's setting up a patsy big time. I'm with you guys that he's
big time.
He's on something. So we got Gus Grimley too, who's finally get to see where the scene where he says whatever. He's like, "Oh, does he got the cancer?" And she's like, "Yeah, leukemia, over." And Sharpie noticed that our mitzvah van was in the background again, just chucking in a little
mitzvah's back.
Jewish faith in the van in the background.
And what is that thing? Is it just like a billboard truck, or is it like a delivery vehicle of some sort?
I don't know.
What is the vehicle? It's not like a food truck or anything. Is it just carrying around
Torahs.
Bibles?
No. Is it the Torah?
Turkeys?
God,
Torahs?
I was Jewish. I don't know. Anyway. Either way,
Well,
it's
there's
just
not a
it's
lot of
interesting
Jewish
that that's been
people
outside.
in the
It's been
Midwest.
outside in a scene with Gus Grimley twice now.
With Gus.
And since we've got all the religious conspiracy going on. So he heads out to check out the 1301 Bird Lane murdered canine.
So is that Stavros Milos dog that they're talking about?
And it took me a minute to realize that this was all not happening in real time, that these were overlapping time frames a little bit, because it's not like Don Chumph was sitting in that minivan for ever waiting for like 20 minutes later. It's like we're cutting to different angles of the same thing time-wise.
Yeah, but they also said that the dog thing happened a couple days
Probably
ago.
not,
They never
because the
got
guy's
to
been
it.
out with the cancer. And like he just knows because he says package requested for Frank Peterson. Like he knows he's going in. Because that's that phone call he makes, and then a bunch of people I saw bitched about the flip phone, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Dude, it's not. It's like 2006. There's no iPhone. I probably had a fucking flip phone in 2006. I mean,
Oh, for sure. In Fargo, we didn't get the iPhone until the iPhone 4. iPhone 4 was the first iPhone in Fargo. So we were pretty late to the game on smartphones. But
No, they're like burners.
It's like watching the wire. It's like watching the wire.
Yeah, right. That's a Boost. He's on Boost Mobile, man, before it was cool. Lauren Malvo should be the new Boost Mobile
He's
spokesman.
such a trend. His haircut, the way he has those boots, just the way he walks. What a trendsetter. He's the coolest guy ever.
So that kind of ties in. We had a little bit of a tinfoil hat theory going on, and Lauren was the start of it, in that this episode seemed to have a running theme of people trying to get arrested.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So it seems as almost Lauren, he seems to know what he's doing, and he makes very little mistakes. That he wasn't just like hanging out in front of he wasn't just hanging out at that address, kind of nonchalantly just goofing off. He was waiting for
And gone.
Gus or somebody to come by, because he was, it had to have been somebody who would recognize him.
How would he know?
To get arrested. So
How would
that
he
was
know
part
that
of the
it's
plan.
Holy shit. I just thought of what if he's the one who called in the murdered dog thing?
He probably did. That's
Oh,
just what I was thinking.
Oh.
He
Damn,
called
why
in the
didn't I
murdered
think of that
dog
till just...
knowing that Gus would come.
I quit. I give up. I'm going home.
You did think of it.
Wait, I am home. I'm recording from home tonight.
You did think of it.
Okay, so maybe he called that in. Because that would also make sense.
He called it in and waited for Gus to show up.
Because he probably somehow, knew enough that he was mostly a animal control doofus.
Yep.
Lauren Melvo,
Exactly.
you weaver of webs.
So he brought Gus to himself.
He has been summoned. He's
just
been
to fuck
summoned.
with him.
And can we talk a little bit about like how good this beer is? And I'm just cracking open. Actually, we're not ready for that yet. I was just making noise. Anyone want to comment on how crappy Gus is at arresting people?
Oh, he was
God.
terrible.
That was
come
awful.
on.
No Miranda rights.
I know.
No, I know.
Yeah,
I
Some
thought
people,
thinking
even
that
though
as
he
I
has
did
no
it.
real case to arrest him, which is the funny part. Not enough. I mean, it's just all circumstantial, or sort of. And yeah, no Miranda rights, and we've already learned he can barely catch a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. If Lorne didn't volunteer himself, or Frank didn't volunteer himself, then that would have just... I don't know how that would have turned out.
Yeah, he didn't have he had to use a key in the car door when he was doing it. He was holding Lauren with one hand.
And then he said something like "butt first," didn't he say? He's like trying to do watch it.
Mind your head.
Here we go. I'm making hand gestures. They can see me, but people at home listening later won't. Yeah, and then the other thing. This is one of my favorite total crazy Kaiser Soze moments though. Is after he arrests him. Oh wait, no, we can't go there yet. They have a little chat in the car on the way over. That is really fantastic. And would you guys agree that this scene in the car is very reminiscent of Marge and Gare, right? Is that Gare from the original movie? Driving in the car at the very, very end when he's caught, and she has that awesome line where she goes, "There's more than life, and now look, and it's a beautiful day."
And she's like, "There's more to life than money, don't you know?"
That's one of my favorite lines in that whole
Mine
movie.
too.
Is when she says it's a beautiful day. It's totally a fucking shitty day.
I don't know if you've checked out the Fargo Brewing Company website recently, but the wood chipper advertisement right now says there's more to life than money,
nice.
don't you know? Which is directly
So here, we'll
from
play this
Fargo.
clip real quick of
Thank you.
of Lauren and Gus
Play the clip.
after he has his awkward, "Can I get my keys and watch your butt first?" And I was also worried he was going to lock his keys in the car, but evidently he's not much of a screw up. But here they are
crossed my
riding in the
mind,
car.
too.
You're making a mistake.
Be quiet.
You're making a mistake.
I said quiet.
That's what you're going to say a couple hours from now. You're making a mistake.
That man just doesn't give a shit, does he?
No.
Gus Grimley does a good Kevin Costner impression. Now that I don't see his face, it sounded like...
Shut up.
It sounded a lot like Kevin
It was.
Costner.
How
I thought
many
we were
chits
watching
for that?
Waterworld for a second.
That was also, I think, the first Smokers in the Background.
Oh, Smokers in the
Wrong
Background.
movie. I thought that was also like the
Oh,
first
that's your
like
cat.
tiny moment though where Gus, granted he's locked in a car in his back seat behind a cage, but he just sacked up just a little and was like, "Shut up."
Mhm. Yeah.
A little.
Well, that's why I couldn't liken it to the scene with the original film because it just seemed there that Marge was like really in control
Yeah.
of things, while here it's like the opposite.
Mhm.
I'm wondering whether we may get a scene later on in the series with perhaps Molly and Lorne, where we'll see something that's a bit more echoing of
Yeah.
that scene in the film.
I agree. I think the scene you're referring to, Bill, is going to come later between Molly and
Yeah,
Lorne.
there's so many things coming. I feel like I can't remember where I read it, but there was a gentleman who wrote, I think it was at AV Club. He's written before about, I can't remember the phrase he used either, but it was like Clockwork Universe. He used it to describe Breaking Bad a lot, where everything is like a fine watch. And I'm doing hand gestures in case you can't see it at home, America, on your audio thing. Those are gears.
Are those
and it's
supposed to be
I
gears?
feel like Noah Hawley is like letting these people push around in this universe, and it's every little tiny gear is finally like lining up, and you're realizing that they're all turning each other and they all have a purpose, and it's not just like I feel like there's not going to be any kind of willy-nilly loose ends,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
except for the Jewish mitzvah truck or whatever it is. We can't figure out yet.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, we never know. It
Yeah.
might appear in later episodes what the significance of that is. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Gus is symbolic of
I don't
Jesus.
know either.
I don't know.
I've been
The whole Jewish reference with
He's-
Gus, like there's this constant, as you were
he's
saying,
the New Testament.
Mhm.
maybe.
Mhm.
My favorite part after the arrest though was when he comes in and just totally pulls like an incredibly smooth. The one dude's reading the paper about the storm coming, takes off his glasses, sets them down, walks around the counter, and by the time Lauren turns around, he's taken that guy's glasses and put them on. And I was like, smooth.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
My second thought was, man, that would make my eyes all messed up, like in the normal way, like because I'm not
Yeah.
superhuman Lauren
Yeah.
Malvo. I would slowly get like one lazy eye from it.
Mhm.
Well, that would help with his story about his bad vision.
Yeah, that could have been that part of that whole story, probably. Because his eyes were getting so messed up that now he had an excuse just in case. It's the glaucoma, just in the one eye. So now he can like smoke grass too, if he wants to, because of the glaucoma. So just in
They did
case
just
he
pass
feels the
medical
urge.
marijuana this
as a
yesterday
minister.
in
Oh,
Minnesota on a very limited basis that doesn't actually include smoking. Anyway, rat hole is what we call that. So Molly's looking at Asian bikini girls with fish too.
Yeah.
that was weird.
I think it's a real
What was
thing,
that?
but it's just one more essence of the fish. And I was like, who was messing with her on her computer?
Mhm.
Was that
Yes,
her computer
I,
though?
Yeah, because
Oh,
then it had
yeah?
like an email to her or something.
Oh yeah, that's
Did
right.
anybody geek out like me and pause on that frame? Her email subject
Oh, which
lines?
one?
What?
Coffee machine
Yeah.
No.
cleaning, summer of glove, something for cheese soup, and
Yeah.
there was a few like smattering of like real things, but it's the off ones that make me kind of and then another one about the coffee machine. I just want to know what the summer of glove is. Maybe I didn't have time to look that up.
Hmm. Everything
The
here's
glove
got a
sale.
reason,
It feels
so
that
that'd be
way, doesn't it?
interesting.
Like nothing
Yeah.
is just by happenstance. And anyone else,
No.
Sharpie, just for you, what was the dead dog foul play called?
The dead dog foul play, the 613.
Isn't that your number from last week?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, so we've got 613 coming back.
So
Yeah.
carries through to another episode, and I'm not gonna get off on any accents, whether they sound crazy or not crazy in terms of realness, but this Bemidji Duluth thing is kind of killing me as a local.
Because you don't just drive over to Duluth.
No.
The first thing I did, I'm not kidding, I woke up and was like, okay, this is really just chapping my ass. I did like the total like maps thing and checked it, and this is like best case scenario. It's 3 hours from Bemidji to Duluth. So if you're like, oh, you got the bad guy,
Yeah,
let me
totally.
just stop on over. Yeah, that's 3 hours, not including traffic.
And it's going to be longer at night
Yes.
in the winter.
What if there's deer?
Yeah, I was rewatching it today, and my girlfriend Claire, who's from Minnesota, she was watching it with me, and that's the first thing she said. She's like, she's just gonna drive to Duluth. They're just gonna drive to Duluth. That's like multiple hours. That's going to take all night long.
It's not a simple thing. I mean, it's fine. I mean, we can give them that. But I mean, what do you do?
Yeah,
They're two cities. It's not like they went from.
it's
Duluth
not just
to
a hop,
Baudette.
skip, and a jump.
Yeah.
That's a hike.
So Molly gets like totally owned by Bill Oswalt when she goes in and gives him the old, "Hey, be right back. I'm gonna run to Duluth for a 3-hour drive and whatever else." And he just he puts the kibosh on that in a hurry. Like, he's pretty daft. He's just like, I don't know, the guy's.
Well, he was also very quick to replace what's his name, Vern. He was very quick to replace Vern and sort of be the head honcho. And I think this is just his sort of male, like, alpha male personality coming out. Like, I'm the king of the hill here. I'm the top dog. And he's just trying to like represent that in every way possible.
He's that thing. He's kind of heartless, with the exception of the Tiny Lester comments, where he basically admits, "I watched somebody beat you up," which is, his heart beats like just a sliver of a thing in his life. It's like just like a baby pulse. But I mean, he just like takes off, doesn't even care. Because I was like, "Come on, Molly, fight for this. This is actually your." He's like, "That's my case, the Lester Nygaard thing," and I was like, "Hey, why didn't you just bring up the whole? I track this guy to the other city and have a screenshot of him dragging Frozen guy out by the necktie." But she just like,
right.
I think she figured she was already like on thin ice with him. Like, he's been taking her off cases
he's made
and
that
everything.
very abundantly clear that he doesn't particularly appreciate her sleuthiness.
And it's also a very Midwestern thing to just keep to yourself and be very modest. Even when you're in the right, you just kind of keep your mouth shut and go about your way.
Yeah, and especially when you're in front of a group of other people. But, so we've got, what was it, Stormwatch 2006? Can I just go on record right now that this storm is going to play a role?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just
so
a
around
Stormwatch
here,
reference.
when weather gets bad, it turns into a news story. It's like a big thing. It's like the CNN, like, Bridgegate or something of anything that people can harp on here, they will. But it is a big deal around here, and everybody's got an opinion on it, and it takes over the news cycle for like a couple days, depending on what type of weather it is. And I've just making my case for it's on the front page of the Duluth newspaper. Bill's having a little mini conference about it in his office with like 4 sheets of paper taped up to a whiteboard, which is also a giant indicator of how shitty he is at his job, because they don't have computers in 2006. But yeah, it's gonna happen. Something's gonna go on with that.
Isn't that one of the plagues?
Ooh, I like. It's not one of the plagues, but it is. No, I'm saying there's no snowstorm in Egypt.
But isn't there like a
it's
storm or
storms of-
something?
So here they
Some
are. It's
kind of weather
water into
event?
blood, frogs, lice, wild animals, deceased livestock, boils. Hey, Lester's hand. Storms of fire, locusts, darkness, and death of firstborn.
Yeah, I was thinking about the death of the firstborn before. Like, about Dimitri.
I was thinking about that too, but it seems like the plagues are only... Izmir, the plagues only more part of the Stavros Milos storyline. Or not?
Yeah, that's what I meant. It would, like, Dimitri.
Yeah.
Or at least, like, I don't know. I was thinking, well, like if Lauren's
That
going to
could be
continue
your-
this.
Yes.
That could be your prediction on who
I
dead
have to
next.
admit, I'm going to be. And I like dogs a
Dimitri?
lot, but I might be a
Yeah.
little more bummed out if Dimitri's dead than I was about the dog. The guy's just so nice. But,
Yeah.
well, I'm going to take this opportunity real quick just to
Mhm.
run through. Oh God, I didn't even have the damn thing open, so I'm going to have to cut this out. Sorry, my bad. Sharpie, I'm. Keep it
I don't
raw.
have to cut it out. Keep it raw.
Was that what we're doing now? Like Eddie Murphy raw?
Yeah, that's
Stop. Sponsors that help this show happen. Big thanks to our sponsors that we have.
Yep. And that helped pay FX
Yes.
Fargo the big bucks.
Fargo Brewing Company's Wood Chipper India Pale Ale. It's 2 pounds per barrel of dry hops, super balanced. It is awesome. It's delicious. I put a bunch of it in my stomach. I don't even know what to say. I can't even read the script anymore because I can't. Screw the script. It's
Screw
it's
the
just
script.
so
It doesn't
delicious.
sound natural.
And they have this thing so dialed in
Yeah.
at their brewery that if you
I'm
are
s-
anywhere in North Dakota and a bunch of places in Minnesota, all the way out to St. Cloud, and you can get Wood Chipper. And if they don't have it, you need to go out and say, hey, what the F is wrong with you? Why don't you have Fargo Brewing Company's Wood Chipper India Pale Ale?
Give me the wood chipper.
Or any of their beers for that matter. But
Yep.
if you're local to Fargo,
Right.
you got to remember most days their tap room is open and they do offer $1 off pints on the nights Fargo airs.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah,
tell
tell 'em we
them
sent
Fargo
you.
Talks Fargo sent you. We will hopefully next week have a little special
Mhm.
for the Fargo Talks Fargo listeners. If you are in the Fargo area, you should get to the brewery right now because they're just releasing a variation on wood chipper, the 1.21 gigahops,
Marty!
which is 5 pounds per barrel of dry hops. It's basically the wood chipper recipe, I believe, but with over twice the amount of hops. It's similar to Hop Slam, if you're familiar with that. Usually comes out in the winter by Bell's. It's similar to like Green Flash's Palette Wrecker. If you're into hoppy beers, check out 1.21 gigahops in the Fargo brewery right now on tap and in the Fargo area.
Yes. So go visit them either in person or if they don't carry them at your local liquor store, ask for it. Until then, if you can't get to them, go to fargobrewing.com and check it out. You've been served if you're of
Yep.
age. Right?
Boom.
There you go. There, we did it. We did it.
Please drink responsibly.
We're covered. All legal responsibilities have been taken care of. So Molly has bikini fish. They take 3-hour drives that should take way longer than that. What else am I missing here? Where do we go from this? There's kind of a strange Lester and Chaz go to his house. I can't remember why. I can't remember what they were
Yeah.
going there for.
Yeah.
That was
Do
awkward.
you guys remember? Anyone remember?
No. I can't remember. I remember, like, Chaz
Oh,
was going to wait in the car while Lester did something, and then his wife said to go in.
Yeah, did they even explain what they were doing?
They did,
Was
but
it-
it must have been, like, in passing, because I can't remember.
Do you think they just needed him to be home so he could get the phone call from the Fargo Crime Syndicate gentleman?
Probably.
yeah. Maybe he
Not
was
sure.
getting more stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe we want to check on his hammer.
I think we've ascertained that the phone call is the only thing that matters, and the rest of it, it's just whatever. That was probably the only thing about this episode that you can kind of go, eh. All right.
There was the sign on the wall that said "Live the life that you've imagined." Yeah, so maybe Lester's going to start doing that, which kind of bodes to his shocking of Mr. Numbers or Mr. Wrench. I always get him confused. Numbers.
Numbers is Adam Goldberg, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Numbers is Goldberg.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Because Wrench is like the brawn type.
Yeah, that's a good way to remember. Thank you.
He's a man who knows how to use his hands.
Phil's favorite.
Oh, no, I was talking about his ASL. Can you read this? I'm flicking Sharpie off.
Universal-
It's my
Universal
Skype.
language.
Sharpie's number one. I think that's an interesting argument they have in Lou's Diner.
Uh-huh.
I think I love that kind of scene too, where it's like, it's amazing how powerful something can kind of feel without any actual spoken dialogue. Like just even that one just little boom, like he pounds the table and you're just like,
Yeah,
it's
everyone
like, fuck you, man.
looks around.
Listen.
Sign language amazes me because it's like it has to be like that almost, because you have to have that for your adjectives. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because I'm sure that ASL is somewhat limited in adjectives, even though I know nothing about it, and I'm not trying to be like an expert here, but the adjectives come from the expressions in the body language.
Yes, I think so. And we got subtitles.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
Yes.
I Sharpie and I, or maybe, yeah, we chatted about it last night briefly. I don't know if we chatted about it on the hot dish. Like I said, it was late. But we were asking ourselves, like, yeah, are they supposed to be, do I want to like double check that now? Now I feel like I can't trust it. Even though they're giving us the words,
Right.
I was like, is that what they really said? I don't know anymore. I'm kind of lost. But I think it really was
Yeah,
what they said.
Yeah,
I
think
trust
that's-
it.
They're playing they're not like Felix Unger Odd Couple, but they obviously have their differences.
Mhm.
Because they've been together for a while in some sort of situation as coworkers or guys who are just living in an ice house.
So basically, the argument is... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, Mr. Wrench has a fair point, though, when he's talking about, well, I'm sure you're about to say it, maybe, but
Right.
he has a fair point about, wanting to get a confession out of Lester before dumping him in the lake. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, he says you got to be sure or something, or
you got to have him say it.
You got to he's got to say it.
Mhm.
It's almost as if he's the that he's the small bit of their moral code,
Mhm.
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That he needs that stuff to happen before he's willing to return somebody to their earth.
Whereas Numbers is a numbers guy. He just wants to get the job done and move on to the next job.
Yeah.
He's like the deal closer.
Yeah. But I guess, though, to a certain extent, too, I mean, they need to get that confession, or else otherwise if they don't and then they stuff up again, then they're stuck there. They haven't done the job. They have to remain until they get the right guy. So,
yeah, they'll have created a mess and have to come back to the same situation or send somebody else, and that obviously won't make whoever their boss is happy.
Mhm.
Has anyone wondered about what is going on with Lorne and his boss, or the realty company that they like? I know he's doing this side project thing. Where is he supposed to be? Like, so he got sent there as Reverend Peterson, right?
Mhm.
And we think the job is that he's supposed to be there to help Stavros Milos
figure out
who's doing it, but he's doing this side job. But I keep waiting for somebody to. He's obviously had to make a call that says, I need a package for Frank, package requested, or whatever it was he said. And I'm like, what's the realty company saying? Because they were obviously itchy about him getting from his first job to Duluth because of his little like veering off into Bemidji to murder a bunch of people. Just and I'm that's my little sticking point for me is like, if they were like so champing at the bit for that, like how come they're not? He's not. I haven't heard from them for a while. I guess I want to hear from the realty company again.
Yeah.
I'm lost on that. One of my only little tiny things I'm lost on.
Ah.
Like, not that I know everything. I mean, just like, what's up?
Or maybe they give him a bit of latitude, I suppose. I mean, if they're
to put a plague
yeah,
on the
maybe not that kind
supermarket
of
king.
Maybe not that kind of latitude, but he's stalling. He's obviously stalling them in some way.
Yeah.
That
for sure.
They're okay that they're letting him have the time to pull all this stuff on Stavros. So,
Do you think there's just a bunch of hitmen in the realty shop going, oh man, that's Lorne being Lorne again?
yeah, it wouldn't surprise me like at all. Yeah,
Man, that guy has got a god complex like nobody else.
Yeah.
they'd be like,
There's one
don't we
other guy
all?
in the corner who's like, he makes me call him Moses. There's a show, like a mashup of Lauren Melvo and The Office as the realty company.
They're all just a bunch of hitmen in cubicles and hanging out.
Sharpening knives.
Why do
Working
you have to be
backstories.
Duluth.
But it's
I'm Shakopee.
I'm curious to know whether Lorne's name is actually his real name as well, because we know that he signed it in the hotel ledger.
Right, and that was odd too.
Yeah, and I'm wondering as well whether that Lorne is actually not a real name, his real name either.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is that him just being his, very open self and just like completely broadcasting that he's this criminal and he can just walk about the earth and nobody can touch him, or is that just another character of his?
And I mean, you could think that someone could potentially get away with that if they've got transferable identities. They just, muck around and do whatever they want to do with that one identity and then shed it and then become someone else. It's quite easy to pull that kind of stuff.
That seems to be his MO.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we move on.
Oh, I have to bring up something that one of the guys that works for our local paper, his name is John Lamb. John Lamb has been on the show, and they live tweet the show, and I obviously wait until after I finally see it to read through their tweets. It's so funny how some of the things he's thinking are things I'm thinking as well. But he pointed out, he's like, there's a lot of serious business that happens in the Duluth Police Department bathroom. Well, I mean, at least the chief in Duluth has the decency to shit with the door shut. But I mean, like, the whole conversation of he's got some sort of thing for Molly Solverson. He's like, lock that shit down, Grimley.
Yeah. At first, I thought he was talking about locking it down in terms of like dating her, like, because that's like something you would say if he's just like, trying to pursue a woman. He's like, lock that shit down, Grimley. Like, that's what you would say to a guy in a men's bathroom. I can't say that, like, if I'm in a men's bathroom and I'm just about out the door and a conversation like starts up while two guys are at the urinal, I don't just like, I try to get out of there. I don't want to like, I don't come back in and like nestle right in between them and start having a conversation.
You don't wash your hands at the sink, maybe turn around, get closer.
Yeah, I don't do that.
You're like, what was that? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Let me step in.
It's usually just like, yeah, and then like a trailing yeah as I walk out the door.
Yeah,
even if it was just like a non yes or no question, I'm getting out of there.
Yeah, bathroom. Yeah. That's not atypical bathroom policy for the Midwest.
Yeah. Well, that's why it was really odd last week as well when we had Gus originally go into the bathroom to talk to
yes,
to talk to his boss, because I thought, what the hell, like. She's mouthing it. And I'm like, okay, so cool, he won't go in. And then he does anyway, and I'm thinking...
Yeah, she's mouthing it as if... Is he
dumb, or is this just normal?
As if this is something you don't speak of, but then you go in and you start the conversation.
Yeah. That's why I thought that was weird.
It's the difference between people around here who are like just very overtly polite, where they just won't say certain things.
Oh, no. Oh, the bit about her mouthing the bathroom I didn't have a problem with, but it was his reaction to it. That's what I found weird, because it was like, why can't you wait a few minutes for him to come out? Like, it's not like what you've got, can't wait a few minutes for the guy to take a dump and then come out. That was just weird. But then this week, it kind of set that in a context where you're like, okay, clearly these conversations in bathrooms are normal. Like, they seem to not care.
Yeah, it's a world I'm not quite familiar with the exception of being out late at the bar, maybe.
Nightclub bathrooms.
Yeah, like those are the bathroom conversations where you have your head on the wall in front of the urinal.
They should just make like tear off little paper, just like the toilet covers. Just like tear off little forehead mats. So you go and you just like lean your head up against the wall, and then when you leave, you just like pull your little Post-it off and throw it away. God.
We've completely derailed.
I'm gonna invent that.
Mia's like, what the hell did I just step into? I didn't know this was gonna be the bathroom episode.
It's all right.
Well,
Okay, so we already covered.
See if it's a running gag anyway.
Yeah, we already covered the like in trying to go in some sort of chronological order. We already covered Lauren calling Dawn at the pet store, but I'm going to point out a distance thing. I don't know if you know where Baudette is. Baudette is like
Way
3 hours.
the fuck up
Baudette's
there.
basically in Canada.
It is pretty much Canada.
It's way up there. And it's about 2 or 3 hours from Bemidji. So if you do and it's kind of like, if you go straight down from Baudette, you'll get to Bemidji. If you go almost straight east, you'll be in Duluth, but it's actually a little south.
Right on Lake of the Woods.
Duluth and Baudette are a long ways apart, and I'm a little disappointed in the background checking they obviously do with this pastor from Baudette. You know, you could always take a picture of him and send it over the internet to somebody and be like, "Is this your pastor?" And they'd be like, "No, who's the guy with the bad haircut?"
I guess he had something in place for that. I don't know what that would have been.
What he did, or if it's like people at his work, like if they had something set up to like always be able
Right.
to check for that.
Because they set up his identity, maybe they forwarded a number to the realty shop or something.
Yeah.
They're forwarding every phone number because he says, "Call anyone you want in Baudette." So
Yeah.
evidently this realty company is, they don't own flip phones. They're clearly users of Palm phones.
Yeah.
Or something of the like, because they've seemed to have a larger grasp on the hacking community of getting this kind of stuff done. But that scene where they leave the room to kind of check his background sources, and Lauren looks through the two-way glass or the one-way glass, and he just knows Gus is on the other side. That shit-eating grin
Yeah.
is worth $1 million. Or
He
wait,
just
it's worth
knows what's
it's
going
worth
on.
$920,000 found by Milos Stavros.
Mhm.
That was a pretty great scene.
So, interesting little side note, the Baudette High School, Lake of the Woods High School, the mascot
I forgot
is
about
actually
this.
the Bears. So the Go Bears is a reference to Baudette, which is also in turn a reference to the movie Fargo. I don't know if anybody is...
You want me to play the
remembers-
clip for you?
It would be pretty cool. The two hookers that they interview in the movie Fargo aren't from Baudette, but they are from I think White Bear Lake.
Wait, Bear, here. You want to hear it? It's
Yeah,
7
let's hear it.
seconds long. Go.
So where are you girls from? Chaska, LeSueur, but I went to high school in White Bear Lake. You know, go Bears.
There it is.
Mhm.
Nice little loop-de-loop back.
Yeah.
Go Bears.
So the little Go Bears is also a Fargo movie reference,
Yeah. Little fella.
which actually works out nice that the Bears are the actual Baudette, Lake of the Woods High School mascot.
Yes.
But I'm sure there's a lot of Bears mascots in Minnesota.
Probably a ton of them. There's only so many things you can have be a mascot around here.
Bears, Vikings, and Bears. And
Pretty
walleye.
Wall.
But nobody wants to be a walleye.
Nobody's the walleye. I'm losing track of what. The motel people come in to talk with Molly.
Yes.
This is also, to me, though, that's the closest she's getting to sticking it to Bill Oswald. Is
Yeah.
that, well, he's gone. She's going for it.
She's investigating anyway.
Yeah, she's still chasing the tail. Not chasing her tail, but she's following that trail
Mhm.
of getting somebody to come in and I like the really subtle part about she knew she had the guy's signature. She knew she had Lauren's signature and that he paid cash and anything left behind. And she kind of had this look on her face like, no. And it was like this really subtle thing where he admitted he took the tokens for the lucky penny and didn't tell her because he went and used them probably.
Yeah.
He's like, well, he had these tokens from the lucky penny. And
Tell
then she kind of
me about
glances,
that.
she glances to her left like, you little shit.
Mhm.
Oh.
I
That's
loved
great,
his
too,
reaction
because-
to that bit.
You love what?
Oh, I loved the kid's reaction to when she showed the picture and then, the sour look on his face. That was hilarious.
Mhm.
He was not a very nice guy.
He got
Yeah.
himself in a little trouble.
Yeah.
I love that too because I don't know if this still goes on, but a lot of those small town strip clubs, they do have their own currency. So if you like go to an ATM and
You mean
get
other
like,
than trading and just shame?
Not that I've ever done this, but if you go to like an ATM in a small town strip club, oftentimes, or this is how it used to be, you'd get like $100 in stripper bucks or like coins. So you were completely like screwed if you
I don't know
wanted
if you
to
know this, Sharpie, but saying I've never done this and then describing something in detail
Yeah.
usually means that you've done it.
You've
Because-
heard it in theory from
Stories,
Because
man. I read it on
been to
Reddit.
plenty of. I'll say I've been to plenty of small town crappy joints like that, and I have yet to ever see anything like that. So I don't know
How
where
have you
even go.
not?
I don't know.
But if they're small
You
time,
go
how
in-
do they afford tokens? Like, I don't get how they can make their own tokens if they're small time.
It's like going to
they
Chuck E. Cheese.
recirculate, which is even grosser.
I don't even want to. Okay, we got to change this up. I don't even want to know what you do with the tokens. Oh, good old American dollars. that
Next
smell like
topic.
baby oil and shame.
Next topic. Move on.
Okay. So Lauren gets there. He's getting let go, and then finally he has that. There's that scene where he's like in the foreground, and Gus is in the background, and Gus of course says, "You're making a mistake."
Yeah.
And Lauren is just like, "Yep, ding 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 ding," or I'm sorry, not ding ding ding. I don't have the sleigh bells. It could have gone right there.
Whatever he's trying to say.
It's too good. Too good to be true.
Yeah, and then right after that, when Gus ends up confronting Lauren as Lauren's walking out, and I loved this shot because it was like they've created a stained glass image because the camera is shooting through sort of some marbly glass as they're both confronting each other, and then there's a window actually behind them. So in between them, there's
like
a bright
double
light.
window.
Yeah, and then there's the two guys, and they're kind of like, they look like they're made in stained glass, and I thought that was a pretty cool sort of like very subtle religious reference. And then Lauren goes into his little tiny little speech.
I thought that was
Which is
also
creepy
another
as
little
hell.
nice touch, though. I mean, I don't know what you guys think, where it's only the second time he has, outside of the shut up, just shut up. It's the second time where he's getting so frustrated that he's just like, what did he say? She's like, how do you do it? Or does he say, how do you lie?
How do you lie?
How do you
How do you lie
know,
like that?
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. That's what it was. Thank you. What did you guys think of that scene? Mia?
I thought it was cool, and then like the he said he just went on about the shades of green after that, and he said, when you have the answer to my question, you'll have the answer to your question. So like it was why do you lie like that? And he said, because of predators, basically.
Which is also, I thought that was an interesting question from Gus, because a lot of times people in the Midwest are like just, they don't even understand the concept of lying. They're just like so honest, almost to the point of putting their foot in their mouth way too often. And
I know that feeling.
And just not knowing when to stop, just because it's just like they're just laying it all out on the table at all times, just in a completely innocent way. But sometimes that it comes off oddly. I know, and I've witnessed this a bunch of times where you'll be on like the East Coast or something, and somebody from the Midwest kind of like put their foot in their mouth, and you just don't realize, like, no, you don't say those kinds of things, because people usually keep that more reserved. But it goes both ways too, in terms of like the modesty, like keeping your mouth shut. So it's like it's kind of a double-edged sword.
I wonder as well. Yeah, I'm wondering as well too with that, like whether the lying for him as well helps him to gauge, like you talked about the predators, Mia, about gauging where the predators are by their reactions to his lies. So that way, like, he can tell when someone's sniffing him out and is sussed by him, versus people who are like totally oblivious, like his own, like Gus's bosses, who just clearly don't have a clue. And
or,
by
Milos too.
Yeah.
Anyone? Can we play that scene real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
How can you do that?
What's that, son?
Just lie like that.
I sure hope you catch that fella killed all those people. I'll be praying on it.
Lorne Malvo.
And he shifts on a dime here.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Did you know the human eye can see more shades of green than any other color?
What?
I said, did you know that the human eye can see more shades of green than any other color? My question for you is why?
No, just hold on.
When you figure out the answer to my question, then you'll have the answer to yours.
And like Kaiser Soze, he goes outside,
Mm-hmm.
kind of does a shift of his body, puts the glasses in his pocket, walks out of a green hallway, by the way, and
Uh-huh.
gets into a green car.
It's funny how he kept his accent for the second part. He
Yeah, totally. He didn't switch into Lorne Malvo, who obviously Gus knew he was. He just maintained the whole minister character.
I think it's his victory dance. It's his touchdown, end zone. Sorry, wrong football reference for Carmela.
That's okay.
I think that was his thing. I think he wanted to just like, I'm gonna grind this under my foot for a minute. You know, it's you or under my thumb, and you're gonna deal with this. I think he would have done it and gone out the door had Gus not brought up his real name,
Mm-hmm.
or his, I don't know, whatever name.
Well, I think it was funny that Gus actually, at that real maximum point of frustration, just went and flung out the name as if he was like trying one last kind of attempt at trying to gain some power, and then Lorne just flipped it on him anyway.
He's like,
Yeah.
I'm in charge here. I'm the one in control.
It's like, yeah, I know who you are, so what?
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. I think it's great that you think you have the conch.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to do a quick break here just to get the last sponsor in here, and then I do want to talk because I think this is a primo spot for us to just at least have like a little bit of dialogue about eating the blame.
Eating the blame.
Eating the blame here. But the other sponsor that helps us get this thing done here is Tag, and Tag is a local company that makes T-shirts and all sorts of other stuff that is fantastic. They're made here, they're printed here. They have a lot of local humor in them, but they have stuff that applies elsewhere. But they have brand new colors in for spring for a bunch of their like really popular shirts, and it's, you know, it supports the Fargo community with true Fargo swag. So you can get your T-shirts, art, and more merch available if you go to tagfargo.com and just go there and check out their website. They have tons of shirts, different colors, kid sizes. I think there's even some onesies that say "My dad feeds your dad." And go check those out, and they are awesome. And so through this show, you get 15% off your order right now through the show. So when you go there and you check out, put in the promo code FARGO. They do not do international shipping beyond Fargo and Canada, so Carmela's SOL on that. But go to Tag. We couldn't do this show without their help. They are so awesome for helping support us and us getting what we need to do done to support this podcast and what we do. So can't thank them enough. You can also find any of the links to our show sponsors by going to our website, fargotalksfargo.com, and seeing anything in any of our posts. So, eating the blame. Has everyone here researched any of that at all?
I've done it for the blog. Like I keep having to look up all the parables and stuff as they come up, as we find out the new titles. So yeah.
So you want to take the lead on this one?
Yeah, I'll do it. Or do you want me to do it and you correct me if I'm wrong?
Yeah, I might need to do that.
Okay, I'll abridge it, because if we let Sharpie explain it, it'll be like 30 minutes long.
Yes, that's true.
So here's the quickest way I can say that. There is a Buddhist monastery, and they have a chef, and he's supposed to be cooking something for them. And in his haste to prepare the meal, he goes out to the garden and is just grabbing and snipping off the tops of vegetables, and he throws them into the soup, and he makes the soup, and he gets out there, and he is serving them, and in his haste, he has grabbed a snake and has cut it up with the other tops of the vegetables and other things and put it in the soup. And lo and behold, the head master guy is like, "Whoa, what is this in my soup?" And it's the snake head. And before he can respond to it, the chef runs over and eats the snake head.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
I missed something in there.
Doesn't
He makes
say
no comment about
Yeah.
it. Like, he never says, "My bad." It's just, that's it.
He just eats it. And then what do you say to that? You know, like, he just snaps it up, eats it, and
problem solved.
Yeah, problem solved.
Oh, and he
Like,
thanks him. He
how do you
grabs it
even
and
respond to
says,
it?
He says, "Thank you, master." I'm sorry, I left that out. Where he thanks him for sharing his food with him.
It's such a brilliant reaction because the master is like, I don't know where to go from here. That's what I love about it.
He was expecting somebody to be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know what I did." So
yeah, he ate the blame and now it's gone.
So here's my quick thought on that, and I would love to hear if you guys think I'm up my own butt about it.
Yeah.
I really couldn't find like the direct thing, and I didn't read anything that was directly compared to this, but I think a little bit of eating the blame, this like harshness or this hastily put together thing, is Gus Grimley completely.
Yes.
I think in his haste to haul Lauren in and arrest him, in the middle of all this, he's had to, sort of eat this snake's head. He's had to, or eat his humble pie kind of thing, because of not following through well enough and not gathering enough of his own little like actual things of evidence to like. He's just been outsmarted by the snake he's eating, Lauren. Not saying Lauren's a snake. I already did the deer thing. I'm not going there. I just mean that I feel like Gus is the character who this is most applicable to. Do you, any of you guys agree or disagree or have a better idea than that? Because I feel like mine's not that great.
Yeah. I wonder too, though, whether the eating the blame parable's about, not, as you said, not fussing over a mistake, focusing more on trying to solve it and sort it out with minimal fuss so that it actually gets addressed, rather than sitting there going, "Oh, I'm sorry," and blathering about. So yeah, I'm just trying to think of what that's in relation to in terms of a character. I wonder though whether in terms of that, is it about like the idea of moving on from whatever mistakes you've made? And I guess you could talk about that in terms of, Lester. Because we haven't spoken much about him, even though it seems like there's been quite a shift with his character in terms of how he deals with stuff, rather than, fretting and panicking. And there was that initial point where, in the boot. Sorry, it's Australianism there.
Yeah, it's a Buddhist
trunk.
koan, if I'm not mistaken.
Trunk of the car in the trunk. He's calling. I'm learning. In the trunk, he's calling, obviously, his brother, thinking that, oh my God, I need to call someone and get help. But then he realizes that he's got his own solution, and then reneges on that, and then proceeds from that point onwards to make use of his own solutions rather than fuss around trying to go, "I'm sorry," or I'm blathering about trying to find someone else to help him out. He's like, he's been forced to improvise more in terms of just coming up with his own solutions.
Yeah, I think the same applies to him punching the cop too, to try to get out of there.
I loved that.
Yeah, that was so.
Just like it was just such a little like.
I thought he like poked him in the eyes, like.
It did kind of feel like it did feel a little Three Stooges about it.
Yeah, Three Stooges the whole time. Like even with the hammer scene right at the beginning as well. It's like, boop.
Yeah.
You just feel like,
oh my God, you guys are totally onto something here.
I murdered my wife.
Like Lester is that, because you know what? There's nothing that masculine about him. Sorry, I know you're both really big fans of his.
Oh no,
I'm just talking about I'm talking about the character he's portraying, not the lovely British man I know he is. But yeah, you're right. The hammer is just kind of like a gunk.
Yeah, he said that in an interview too. He said that he like intentionally didn't want it to be a cool moment. It was like very small.
Yeah, even the afterwards, the oh jeez.
Yeah.
Oh jeez. Oh jeez.
Oh jeez.
So yeah, I guess
I
that's
want to
what,
watch that now again, and I want to like play Benny Hill music. And it's like, I want to just like make a clip with just that in it. Oh, it's so right, and it's the Three Stooges. I'm never gonna see that the same again now. In a good way. In a good way.
That's an excellent
Well, I think that's what it's. Yeah. I'm just that's me thinking off the top of my head.
I like.
Oh, you don't pull it out of your ass the way we do?
Yeah, maybe
Depends
a
on
bit
what
of
we're
us as well. But yeah, it just seemed like, because I noticed with the parables, it's not necessarily like what you directly see with the parables and what they mean. Like you kind of have to tease it out a bit in terms of like more of a general meaning in order to kind of as a theme throughout the episode. And I guess you've got a whole bunch of people, as you said, trying to get arrested, but also trying to eat their own blame, if you could call it that.
You definitely could. What else, what are we missing here before we slowly wrap up?
Well, let's go into that.
Not slowly wrap up. We should probably quickly wrap up.
Let's go into
every week. These get longer and longer. We should do them as 2-parters.
Let's just go into Lester hitting the cop in the face, because that kind of ties into sort of a secondary theme, not even a secondary, maybe even a tertiary theme of the show, where it seems like people were trying to get arrested throughout the entire show. So you have Lorne at the beginning leading Gus to himself. Lester punches a cop in the face to get arrested. Lester, who was just kidnapped by Mr. Wrench and Mr. Numbers. Now let's go into that little scene. So for those who have hopefully seen the show by now, so Lester's now in the clink. He purposely put himself in there to escape his captors. But then what do his captors do? They get into a bar fight, which I don't think was an accident at all. They purposely,
I don't either.
I think they purposely staged a bar fight to go into jail because they knew that that's where their catch was.
Uh-huh.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean?
I think that's totally it.
Because they saw him with the policeman. Yeah.
They saw him in the back of the car. And that was my one thing I will say. I think a cop would give somebody a ride from out in the middle of nowhere.
I know.
I know. He's like about to cry, and there he's like,
I'm not a taxi.
Oh, it's a bit like the beginning of the episode, isn't it? Where the guy, where young Stavros.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh my God.
I like that. I like that. I definitely like that.
The whole thing is like a Clockwork Universe. I mean, yeah.
It's amazing too, and I know Sharpie pointed out in the hot dish last night that even the scene preceding all that, it was almost like Lester was falling prey to like all the other people's things. He was dragged by the collar the same way Frozen Panties guy was. He was almost shoved into an ice hole. Nobody hit him with a hammer or shot him, but they did punch him. What was the other one, Sharpie, in that mix? It was like he was dragged, almost shoved in an ice hole.
Well, but even before...
You're right, Mia's right, running through the woods.
Even before that, though, he was taking a call from the Duluth police saying they're doing forensic on his car, and he's like, oh my God, I'm so screwed. So it was almost like, because he got distracted by that. It was a bit like watching like a fish kind of be distracted and then a shark just take it when the guys grabbed him and put him in the trunk. It was like, because of that distraction, it led to him not being aware of those two guys, and then snap.
And we've all learned, don't borrow a phone from Chaz. Once again, I'll repeat it twice.
That scene was a classic, but yeah.
Where were your hands
don't
before
ever
you
touch
used
his
the phone?
computer.
I know, that was, loudspeaker,
I had a slight amount of trouble with the ice auger, though. They're driving a 2-door Buick Regal, correct?
Right.
And Lester's in the trunk, so the logistics of getting that really long, big thing, like, into the back seat of that car, I'm hoping that I'm just going to go ahead and pretend that they left it by the side of the road. Is getting that thing, like, folding the seat forward and getting an ice auger out.
Are they...
Of that size? I mean, that thing's got like a 12 to 18-inch diameter, more like an 18-inch diameter.
That's an 18-inch auger right there.
Oh, yeah, that's an 18-inch hole cutter.
That's an 18-incher.
I'm just curious, is that the same lake that they've got their house on in their previous episode? Because then they could just lug the thing to the house.
Maybe it was in the house.
No, but they don't. They don't. They pull up on the road and they.
Oh yeah, that's right. He does. Yeah.
Punches him in the thing, and then all of a sudden, Wrench is just like, "Hey, I got my shit. Let's do this. Hold on, let me dig my hole."
Mhm.
Yeah.
So people online have been saying that the ice auger is the new wood chipper.
No.
Yeah.
Yes,
think
it
so?
is. It's the executioner.
It's not the same. I'm sorry. It just doesn't have the same like.
Yeah.
Like
But
it's
It's
maybe
weird
we'll
now
get
though.
that
'cause
later.
Nowadays,
it's
though,
still the same
wood
mechanics.
chipper. Yeah. Well, I guess nowadays the wood chipper thing is like I've read people who've watched the film of late, and they're not quite as shocked by that scene because of now what we're used to in terms of blood and gore and violence on TV.
or because we literally have it outside our
Yeah, like-
visitors bureau.
In your
Like
face.
it's so unshocking that we will be like, stop here at our community right off the interstate. Stop by and take a picture with a thing people shove a body through.
I don't
There's
know
a
why.
foot. They have a mannequin foot sticking out of it all the time. So there's no question when you show your child it that you'll have to be like, well, there's a movie where people put bodies in that.
Yeah.
No big deal.
I know you weren't born yet, but they should just put that wood chipper in the airport. Along with a ice hole kiosk where you just go take a shot of ice hole and then you go take a picture next to the wood chipper. If you need any more marketing ideas, my name's Sharpie. You can contact me on Twitter at Sharpie. CHARPIE.
Yeah, there you go. All right, we better wrap up the last thing here. So
the jail. Okay, so Lester's
Stavros. We haven't even got to the jail.
Oh gosh.
We get too many nerds together,
You
and it's even worse
mean the cricket scene?
because we haven't even talked about
crickets.
the crickets
geez.
/ locust /
jeez.
plague.
Yeah.
Oh jeez.
That also has the part. They have the scene where you can actually see the Adderall taking effect on him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't know if
He's like
He's
in
always-
some sort of drug infused
haze.
accountant's nightmare.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's gonna come into play next episode. It seemed like a heart attack or something like that.
Oh, something's got to happen to him.
Hmm.
But at the same time, I also don't the firstborn son, which is his only son, but
Yeah.
he goes through that whole it's kill or be killed. So I feel like somebody's foreshadowing it.
Hmm.
I don't know who though.
They also in the first while on Fargo thing, they made a very big point of showing the Adderall as well.
Yeah.
I'd agree. I think that'll feature in the next episode a fair bit.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Lauren makes that call, which I still, credit to me on that one. That's like the complete tie back to it's me, but everybody's gonna eventually blame Don Chump if he is setting him up as a patsy.
Hmm.
And there's that crazy scene of Lauren on the roof.
Oh yeah, just watching the chaos and smiling.
Yeah.
If you get a chance, look at that scene and maybe skip the plane part, cruising through the background, but look up A Simple Man, the
Oh.
movie.
Yeah.
There's that scene where the actor's on the roof too. It's a very similar shot. I
Oh.
thought it might have been.
Yeah.
Some people were doing the whole, it's he's like the angel of death or the devil looking over, and I'm like, I feel like it just might be something else.
Hmm.
But you never know. You never know.
Yeah. He'd also stuck the
Uh.
crickets presumably through the vent to get the crickets to want. I don't know how it worked, but
Yes.
some kind of air vent or something to get them into the supermarket. So
Yeah.
Well, the HVAC would be up there on the roof, so you probably just fed them.
Yeah,
through that.
yeah. So speaking of 3-hour drives everybody takes, evidently Molly's off duty. The clock does read 8:20 and Gus shows up at Lou's. I don't know. That's a lot of driving for a girl you're not even dating.
Gus, yeah. And she's
I
like,
mean,
"Where were you?
courting.
We're gonna go a search
He's like,
party."
God, I sent out a search party for you, and I was like, don't these two really hate the phone? Don't they? I mean, what was it that
Or
made
this is
them-
a prelude to dating.
I think I need to start thinking this as it's presenting itself
For
as
sure.
As an hour apart. The cities are. The two cities.
Yeah.
Because if it's like 45 minutes, if we're talking Detroit Lakes to Fargo, I can see that happening. Like, come out here, let's have a
Yeah,
little,
of course. Yeah.
have a little dinner, some hot dish, maybe
Yeah.
get a milkshake again. We'll find out what's up with your mom. I'll tell you what's up with mine, because she did also in her inbox have a folder for mom with 8 unread emails. Anyway, nerding out there. So we go to
I've
the
got
jail.
to look at that screen now. I'm gonna have to go
Yeah,
back and look
there's
at
all
it.
sorts of stuff.
Mhm.
So Lester's in jail, trying to get comfy, and
Yeah.
boom.
Yeah.
And that's where we end
Dang.
it.
Numbers
The,
and wrench.
Yeah.
Numbers and wrench come in, and they're
And this is where, like Bill said, he likes a man who's good with his hands. Now they're locked in a cell together.
Yeah.
He says something about a chicken pot pie. Did anybody hear that? I was like, I wonder if he ad-libbed.
I think you were just hungry.
Was I?
No, because I don't remember them saying anything.
I don't remember.
I
that
don't
at all.
remember that at all.
Play it back, and when Adam Goldberg's walking in, he's mumbling to the guy who's going to put him in lockup, and he says
okay.
something about,
Let's
"Oh,
hear
did I get a chicken pot pie or something?" He asks for
Oh,
something.
yeah. Yep.
Check,
Yeah.
check it out.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that till like I was looking for a different clip, and I ended up
Yeah.
playing that part. But
Yeah.
You guys don't know Bill quite yet, though, but he often says, "Did somebody say chicken pot pie?" That's just like a common phrase
it's
for
just
him.
like average daily.
What? Did you say
conversation.
chicken pot pie?
Somebody say chicken pot pie?
I
Hot
was
dogs?
Yeah, I was
Go ahead,
busy.
Carmel.
I was just busy screaming at my TV at the end of it because it just really reminded me of. It's just so reminiscent of Breaking Bad. That idea of like 1 step forward, 2 steps back, and
Oh,
that
yeah.
whole little arc with Lester where he gets kidnapped, and then he exercises a bit of initiative, thinks he gets away, and then back to square one. And then the look on his face at the end, and I'm like, my God, this could so be out of Breaking Bad. It was amazing.
And next
This
we
is
start
phenomenal.
our halfway point, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Episode 5.
Yeah, let's do Who Dead Next then,
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
right?
Well, I was thinking like, there's one interview where Martin talks about like Lester kills a bunch of people in the show, and so far he's just killed the one. So
Sam Hens. Well, Sam and the Panty
No.
Smith
Sam and what?
and the Panty Man. I forget what you always call him.
the penny minute.
Frozen panties? No, that we're talking about.
talking about
Lester.
Lester, not
Lester.
Oh, Lester.
Yeah.
I was thinking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, we don't laugh about when Lauren kills people. It's only funny
Alright.
when we talk about Lester killing people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's like,
Like a
"Kaboop,"
Three
with his 2
Stooges.
fingers. He's like all Three Stooges about it. He's gonna.
Lester's
Next
got to
episode, he's
eventually
gonna-
kill his brother.
He's
You
gonna.
think? I don't know.
I don't think
I
so.
think
I
so.
don't
I don't
think so
think-
anymore.
yeah.
I
No.
don't. I think the
Well,
minute
I
they
did
went
for-
shooting
I-
together, they buried the proverbial hatchet.
I was
Yeah.
thinking like I don't know how
Although he
much
did
longer.
call him an asshole, so
Mhm. I was thinking I don't know how much longer the conflict between Lester and Numbers and Wrench can go on. You know,
Sure.
so if they could be it, I don't
I
know.
think they're the people who are going to meet the other side of those guns.
Mm-hmm.
I think he and his brother are going to go all commando on it.
He's gonna get his brother involved.
I don't know. Maybe not.
I
used
just
to-
don't
used to
see
think he
his
was gonna-
brother playing a major role in anything. I mean, they're just making him out to be the biggest like douche canoe, and there's just no. He does have a lot of ammo.
No, he's a little. Yeah,
it's
He's
just
just
a story.
getting his rocks off.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, having a meeting. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in a meeting.
that in
Those
mind.
were- Now that we're doing a Fargo podcast, I can't ever say that.
Can't ever say what?
That I'm in a meeting.
Which
So does that? So wait, Mia, did you pick who do you think is dead next?
I don't
Like-
know because I could see Dimitri because of the plagues of Egypt thing,
Yeah.
and then I don't know. I think something's gonna come to head with Lester and Numbers and Wrench at least.
Yeah,
The
they're
next
going to
one.
make friends.
They're in a jail
They're
cell
gonna-
together, so
Yeah.
something's gotta happen.
Carmela, what do you got any speculation?
Um, The next, I
Like,
don't know. if any-
It's been 2 episodes and nobody has
it's-
died.
I
I
know. Well,
guarantee
aside
you.
from the dog.
Yes,
King.
True, the dog.
Yep.
King's
Yeah.
dead.
Which was ruled a homicide, so I think we can count it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mark it. dude.
Canine homicide, yeah. That's a hard one. I can't think of. I don't know if. I know that I'd agree with Mia about the. Obviously, the 3 of them in a cell, something's going to happen, but whether it actually leads to them dying at this early
I don't
stage, I'm not
see
Yeah,
sure.
I don't know if they'll die,
cell.
but like something's gonna. Yeah, it's not gonna be in the
Something's-
cell if it happens because like.
Yeah, because that'd be stupid.
Yeah.
Dead end.
That would be stupid.
Dead end.
Too close quarters for
And
that.
Chump has kind of wiggled his way into the storyline more than I was expecting. So he's probably going to be around for a while.
Mhm.
He's
Maybe.
too stupid to do anything of note or to get killed yet.
To be honest, I was expecting Glenn Howerton to be in like 1 episode. But
We haven't even seen Michael Key and
Key
Peele
and
yet.
Peele.
They
Oh.
come
They
in
come in.
episode 6. They're in
That's
2
it.
weeks.
Okay.
Mhm.
Sharpie, do you have a Who Dead Next, or are we all basically flummoxed on this issue this week?
Well, I gotta throw somebody out there. I do.
All right,
I've
who's
never
going,
been
who's going
right,
under the bus?
but, who dead next? I'm gonna go with Helena because we haven't seen her in a while, and she's not like a major character or anything. But she didn't do anything to get on the audience's side in this episode. She's basically been a bitch to Stavros Milos Stavros from the dawn of time. I feel like she's never been nice to him. She wasn't nice to him in the car. She wasn't nice to him in present day. She's just always she could have been on his side for a long time. Maybe she was we just don't know. But she's never proven herself to be like a cool person. So I want her to be dead next. Helena be dead next.
Oof.
Hmm.
Was that too harsh?
No, not at all. I see what you're saying. So far, it doesn't bode well to be a wife of anyone on this show. That's for sure.
No.
Mhm.
I'm lost as to who I'm going to pick as well. I want to say it's going to be one of the guys, Numbers and Wrench, but I think it's going to come. I think they've realized that Lester's the weak link, and I think he's going to cough something up in jail. That's how they're going to pal up. They're going to buddy in the thing, and he's going to cough up Lauren.
Yeah.
And I think Lauren, in return, is going to kill Numbers or Wrench. They're going to go after them.
I don't think
And-
Lester knows Lauren's name, does he?
He won't. He called him.
Yeah.
I'm just saying he's going to.
There's
he's
another
going
guy, but all I need to do is he just needs to say there's another guy.
Mhm.
You
because
know,
they
and he's
already
going to-
obviously know they killed Doppelganger Lauren,
Mm.
And this,
and now they're obviously still searching for somebody else because they're like, whoops.
We'll definitely see some camaraderie start to build between Lester and Wrench and Numbers because none of them are stupid enough to do anything within the cell. So obviously, conversation has to happen.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
I want to know who gets who out of jail or how they get released. But so that's my Who Dead Next. So
I bet
and with go ahead, Mia.
this is not a Who Did Next, but I bet we'll get more Gina next episode too.
I think we have to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Too much. It's the only sexual tension the show has seen. Right?
Well,
If
Kate
those
Walsh
two run
said
off
that
and-
she and Martin have like a lot of scenes together.
Yeah. We've
Oh.
read that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
God, I hope she bangs him. I really do. That guy deserves. I mean,
Not
it's not
deserve.
He'll
nice.
bang him and he'll be like,
Murdered.
It's not nice. It's
You're gone.
totally not. I hope he doesn't have sex that way. Boop. If everybody could
Done
see
here,
the
right?
finger gestures we're making right now with each other.
I'm not sure if you guys, just on an offside, have you seen the film The World's End?
Oh
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
yeah.
with Martin's character.
Hopefully,
Hopefully not that.
Oh my god. Hopefully he's better than 2 shakes and a shiver. That's all I can say. So I like those odds. I think we're more spot on in him getting laid than who's dead.
Yeah. Yeah. Who
He's
gets
going to
laid
get
next?
laid.
That can be another segment at the end of the show.
Yeah,
Who's dead
that'll
next
be
to
the
that?
next
Who gets
Or,
laid
no-
next?
or
He's dead,
which
he gets laid.
yeah, what episode does Lester get laid in, or at least slightly aroused?
who Lester lays.
Problem is she'll try to hold his hand.
one touch and he just like explodes all over.
Oh,
You mean the boil? The boil explodes.
That thing's ripe.
Oh,
man.
Oh God, it's terrible.
well, the thing
It's so
is,
bad.
that's so funny.
Sharpie.
I was reading a random tweet where someone was saying, half of the Midwest bands now are going to call themselves Lester's Hand. That was pretty funny.
Oh God,
Yeah.
that's gonna be so good. Oh, I don't even know where to go from here. What
I
do
love it.
what do we normally say at this point, Sharpie? Thanks to Carmela and Mia and our sponsors for being on the show. So go to FargoTalksFargo.com to check us out, or on Facebook at Fargo, Facebook.com/FargoTalksFargo, or on Twitter at FargoTalksFargo. And if you want to check out the ladies and what they're doing, go to fxfargo.tumblr.com, right?
Mhm.
Boom, I did that. And if you don't know that Tumblr's missing an E, you don't know about the internet, and you won't find it anyway, and that's okay.
Also, check them out on Twitter at FXFargo. Carmela, Mia, and Katie, was it?
Yeah.
Yes.
All
Yeah,
right.
props to Katie for being
Check
party
out
to
all
me.
their
Maybe we-
stuff. It's so awesome. I mean, we just pretend to do this podcast, and they're the ones doing all the dirty work. So really appreciate you guys being on the show. It's been awesome.
thanks for having
Well,
us.
thanks so much for having us. Yeah. It's been fantastic.
Mhm.
We might have to connect again sometime, like
Maybe later in the
after
series?
show. Yeah,
like a giant wrap up.
yeah.
Oh yeah, let us know.
Yeah.
Plus, if anything, at least for like a 10-minute segment of when Lester finally got his rocks off.
Yeah.
Somewhere, or his, whatever.
Just check out Tumblr
Definitely.
when that happens. It will.
Oh.
It'll.
Oh
blow
God.
up.
I can only imagine the GIF you're about to make.
Oh, we won't be. No, there'll be.
We won't
heaps.
have
There'll be a
to.
whole.
They'll be.
We won't have to. Stack of people get ahead
Yeah.
of us
Oh.
on that front.
Oh.
Dear internet, we love you.
Yeah.
So, well, there it is, folks. We will. Geez, the show's over. So we'll see you next week. Sharpie,
Hey now.
enjoy your cookies.
Thank you.